Okay, ladies, we are live. We are live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Event Industry Facebook Live. This is new uncharted territory for so many reasons, but this is the first time that I'm actually having some guests on the program, which I'm super excited about because I'm usually just talking to myself, which I have no problem doing, obviously, for like the last year. but it's
doing a great job at it.
To talk to you guys. And I mean, just try to have a sense of humor about this whole situation. But I thought it would just be worthwhile to get some other event industry leaders to have a conversation, entrepreneurs, and talk about like what you're doing day to day. Like, what is your days looking like where you're just trying to mentally think through all of this as a business owner, to think about today, the next week, a couple months from now, and all the things. And this is just even as a person, and as a mother, or as a daughter, what all the different hats that we wear besides business owners. Like, how are we navigating like all of this, especially in light of the new governor's order yesterday for the whole state of California? Now things are just like really on lockdown. So I love to have you guys just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your business first, and then we can talk about like many of those things I just mentioned and things that you're working through right now. So, Jen, do you want to go first and just talk about, what your business is and who you are? And I'm so glad to have you guys both here.
Well, thank you so much for having me and just for your partnership over the last few years. That is all for sure coming into play, even more so now. But I'm Jen Bleakley. I own Huntress Florals. I'm originally from Philadelphia. Background is a lot of corporate event management, so I've got years in that as well. But now I'm happy doing the floral part mostly and focusing on that, and been here in San Diego for 7 years now. So thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. Miss Jillian.
I am here. I am juggling people. I am stay-at-home mom / working / little ones are here, so they can say hi.
Hi.
So you may hear them in the background, and I do apologize, but this is the life I'm living these days. So you might as well get a taste of the real life, the daily. I don't want to call it a struggle because it is really neat that I get to be home with them right now, but it is an adjustment to go from, getting up, the hustle, the bustle, the daily, and then, driving to school and getting a minute to regroup and just collect my thoughts, and then obviously go and put on an entrepreneurial hat. And now I'm kind of juggling all of the things. So, and also trying to, figure out what's next for TBD and how we're going to do this. So, sorry, I went off on a tangent, but I'm Jillian. Nice to meet everybody. I'm the owner of To Be Designed. We are an event design and production company here in San Diego, and we focus on corporate. We do weddings, we do social, pretty much anything and everything that has to do with the design of an event, we'll take care of. So now you're going to get to learn a lot about how we're processing all this insane news.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. And just to speak to one of the things you said, Jillian, is that like I'm a creature of routines and habits, and I like order and I like structure, just as an Aries and someone that just likes to micromanage, and also probably as a business owner, I just like to be in charge of stuff. So I think that there's a lot of like feeling uncomfortable right now because we don't, like all of a sudden, all the routines and everything that we had that we've developed, now all of a sudden, we're not getting up and running the kids around to school and dropping them off. And while there's like a little less stress with that, it's also just equally stressful to not have like a structure of things. Yeah, Jen, I think that's something you can relate to too.
For sure. And I think some of that is just us being in the event industry to begin with. Our brains are sort of wired for organization, planning, like, navigating, having all the backup plans in place and things like that, like worst case scenarios. Never thought of this one. So yeah, I think
point. Yeah. Right? I mean, you always think about what could go wrong. And this is like completely not even close to, I think, what anybody had imagined.
No, and I think like nature, I mean, we all know that in our industry, like you worry about force majeure and like just the things that you can't control, weather, outdoor events, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, aside from like the obvious of like the biggest challenges you guys are facing, is there anything that like really has like popped up as something that you're just like, wow, this is something I didn't consider? You know, what have just been the immediate like challenges just in the last couple of weeks? I feel like this all hit us pretty hard. I remember talking a little bit about this at the RFP event, and there were some events that were starting to get canceled, and I think there was just in my mind, a little bit more positivity around the whole situation of like, okay, they're going to get a handle on this. Like maybe there's a few events that are going to cancel. And then last week, all of a sudden I saw like the NBA is shutting down, and I'm like, oh my God, this is for real, like going to completely impact like a ton of events. So what has been something that's been a huge challenge for you guys in your businesses?
Someone's calling me. Hold on. Decline. Sorry. So I think honestly, first and foremost, I've learned an insane amount of stuff in the last 2 weeks. We've been really quiet on social. We've been really like, it's just been so much to process.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people know about TBD and like how our business is built, but I do have about 15 employees, and we have, major brick and mortar. And we, in the middle of all of this, because I didn't anticipate this happening, we decided to move. So we were going from a 6,000 square foot building to a 14,000 square foot building. And we're still doing it because we're obviously made the commitment, and here we are. But I think really just navigating what's best for my employees and what's best for the company in general to continue, right? Because we have to know that this is going to end at some point. I don't think we necessarily have a timeline, or really anybody knows at this point, but it will end, just like everything comes to some type of end. So we've been really digging down deep into what is the best way that not only can the company set itself up for success to continue through this hard time, but ultimately what is the best thing that I can do for my employees to get them in a safe, healthy position to where they can, navigate this as well, while taking a little bit of the pressure and the burden off of the company and just that financial pressure. So, and just learning like what rights do I have as an employer? Because California obviously has tons and tons of laws. So it's been quite an interesting journey, reading into everything, chatting with lawyers. What can I do? What can't I do? What ultimately is the best? And, I'm blessed to have an amazing, amazing staff that understands. And honestly, I think they're more concerned for me than anything. And I'm like, guys, I care about you. So, I'm fortunate that way, but just navigating, like, literally your business just blows up in a day. What do you do? You just start at square one, I guess. And I'm slowly figuring it out myself. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to do this. That's for sure.
No, that's such a huge, I think as an entrepreneur, like when you start things, like, about like planning events, or, maybe, about floral designing, like those things, but then you're then challenged with like all this other stuff that you have to figure out and navigate. And some of the stuff you're talking about is making my head like want to explode, of like just the legal jargon. I have one employee. I can't imagine, having to juggle like 15 and what that would look like. And I just think that would be completely challenging, on top of like the clients that you're juggling and postponing, or new business that like is still coming in, because I'm talking to clients about new business stuff, but everybody's like, they kind of want to talk about it and then they don't want to talk about it. And sure, that adds like this huge layer of like a learning curve of all this new.
I think it will definitely make us all better in the long run, right? Like in everything good, bad, and different in life, you can take something and learn from it, I think. And so I'm thankful that I am getting to learn. I didn't necessarily want to crash course in like T-minus 24 hours, but
labor law, it's California.
Right, whatever, wherever we're at. But yeah, I mean, I am thankful. I know a lot more now about my rights as an employer, because I think, we sometimes forget that we too have options because we are so employee focused. And so it's been just really great to have the team, the support team behind me, between, insurance and lawyers and all sorts of people that I'm finally, for years I've paid and wondered, will I ever get to use any of this? I don't know. And so it's kind of nice now to get to cash in the sense of, being able to speak to somebody and being able to get stuff situated. So.
Yeah. How about you, Jen?
Oh, yeah. My heart goes out to you. Just hearing all of the people. I mean, I'm trying to kind of stay, and maybe it's naive, but I'm just trying to stay in sort of a heart space, and the human side of it all is really resonating most for me right now.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate, I just hire freelancers to help. So that's one piece. And I've kind of been lucky, even with the timing of this, where I had a chunk of events right before this hit. And now I had a little breathing room until April. So I am, dealing now just with clients and postponing, and just navigating kind of day by day, because nobody knows. And yeah, just trying to make it as easy as possible for my clients, and reaching out to other vendors, venues, just working together to make sure that, when all this does come back up, we're ready to go, But for now, just kind of, I wish we could just take all the financial stuff away, honestly. And, let's all just be free right now, literal timeout, pause, and then we can just pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
When everybody's healthy. I don't know how that can happen.
No, I don't. I mean, that's a good point. I think the thing that causes the most stress is money. And right now, when we don't have any money coming in, or know okay, when's this going to end? If this is a pause and we all know May 1, we'll all be fine and everything will be back to normal and people will book and all those things. And we're if we just all can hang on to May 1st and then it'll be business as usual. It might, but now that we don't even know. And I think it's really just kind of just difficult, looking at the country as a whole and not knowing collectively we're not all doing the same thing. So this could drag on for a long time, and there's orders here in California that are so much stricter than Wyoming right now. And so I think it's, I think just trying to understand what's going around the country and then around the world and how that affects us locally, it just kind of makes my head spin a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but.
Yeah. I think the best thing people can do for themselves, obviously I'm going on day 7 inside, I think. I don't even know. I took a car ride yesterday to get some June shine because I was oh man.
I saw your picture.
Yeah, you got to get that wine and get the.
I think if everybody can really abide by, everybody's saying something different. Our government is on many different pages, and I think this is something that's as we did not see this coming, and haven't navigated it before. It's something our nation hasn't ever experienced either, really this large, and this is something that's growing and changing so rapidly. So I think it's important that we just all do our part by staying in. The longer we can stay away from people, as hard as that is, I think the better, because ultimately that's essentially what could get rid of this and make this, a much quicker process. So while it's not easy, it is something that we all need to do our part on, I think.
And talking about maybe some fun stuff like June Shine, what are you guys doing to entertain yourself or make this not? I one day I went out Thursday of last week, or I think I went to my office on Monday, but now my office has been quarantined because someone's tested positive, so I can't even go back to my office or even work from there. Luckily, I have a home office, but And then I have 2 small kids that don't have daycare anymore. And yeah, so the days are getting counted because it's raining all the time and there's so much you can do with a 4-year-old and almost 2-year-old, and it's getting bananas. Plus, like, things are getting canceled and there's lots of tears, and yeah, just day to day, like, I feel like it's challenging, but I'm trying to think of ways to, like, not have my mind go crazy, especially since we went from, as a business owner with a lot of events, like go, to just like stop and be like basically a stay-at-home mom. Like, mentally, it's challenging for me. Like, I love my kids, but I also love my work, and not being able to do my work is this dichotomy that's really mentally really hard, because I'm enjoying some extra time with them, but I also like being a working mom, and I don't have that work right now, a very little of it that I'm like, touching here and there. So I don't know. What are you guys doing to like mentally keep yourself sane, or just keep the happiness up so you don't like spiral into this is devastating, crazy shit? Let's get the breath.
I mean, yeah. Fortunately for me, I am introverted. So, and I feel like I've been doing this for the last 2 months anyway. Like, I was sort of retreating. So now I'm like, shoot. All right. Well, and I mean, luckily I don't have kids to deal with, because I think that's a whole nother thing with the feeling for you mamas. It's tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, a lot of it is just doubling down on all of those, like, self-care, and especially the mental stuff. Meditation, yoga, dog walks, nature. I'm still trying to put more positivity out there too, even under Huntress, like the beauty in the everyday, and just taking those moments of gratitude, being much more present. I think that's kind of what Mother Nature's might be trying to like tell us right now anyway. I like that a lot of people are putting things out there. Like, we're so fortunate too that we have social media and internet. And I have a pile of books that I want to read, but I think it's just being careful of like what I'm consuming in every way, and just trying to nourish, mentally, physically, spiritually. Because I've had
a good point about consumption, because it's really easy to like start going on Facebook, then go down a wormhole and you see all these articles, and you click on the articles, and then you're looking at the news feed, and it just makes things for myself, like, I'm just reading stuff and it's making me even more stressful sometimes, and I just have to like get off. There's a lot of positive stuff out there, and I love the stuff you're posting, Jen. And there's a lot of things that people are sharing that are resources, but it also is just like inundated with like, a lot of kind of scary stuff, and a lot of like stuff to grab our attention that can just be emotionally also overwhelming too.
Definitely.
Knowing what to believe. Like, what's true.
Yeah. Jillian, what are you doing to, besides getting your keg of Juneshine?
Besides Juneshine, so we're doing, and I don't know.
Orders? Can I?
Yeah, seriously, they do. That's why I did it, because literally you don't go in, like, they're completely closed, so they're just trying to get rid of, I think, stock like of what they had. So I ordered online. I pulled up. I like yelled out the window, "Hey, I'm here!" And he took it, put it right in my car, and I left. So it was perfect. I finally got a nap in the meantime. So it felt like a winning moment for a mom. I was like, but we're starting or trying to start every day with a walk to run out those like first morning energies. Walk or bike ride, or just kind of be outside. Thankfully, it's starting to get sunny again, which is great. And then we're doing a lot of painting, a lot of coloring, a lot of Play-Doh. We've played the game Life like 30 times. So, I mean, I think we're just trying to do our best. This is probably, they eat constantly. I just texted a friend. I'm so thankful. I've got so many great friends who were like, "Hey, I've got this. Hey, I've got that." I'm like, okay, cool. So we're kind of trading to see what everybody can, pass off as far as food goes. But Yeah, I mean, we're doing forts and just kind of hanging. To be honest, this has been for a creative person that I typically wake up every day. This sounds really cheesy, but I wake up every day like very creative. I feel that's like when I best thrive. And I don't know if I'm just so emotionally and mentally drained from everything that has been going on and just trying to navigate all these uncharted waters that I felt nothing, like literally nothing. And it sucks because I have, I'm fortunate. I do have weddings. Our business is diversified, and so there are clients that are wanting some things from me, and I'm trying. It's just so strange. I can't explain it. And I always want to give my best, and so right now I just don't feel my best. And so I'm trying to figure out what is going. I think by next week, once I really settle into this, and now that so much of this stuff is done from like a business perspective and just kind of getting all of our T's and crossed and I's dotted there, I now don't have that pressure and that like just constant phone call and what's this and who's that. And so I'm hoping by next week I can really come back and feel good. But it's also, I mean, like Jen said, I mean, it's a lot of rescheduling, and can we do that? And do we have enough staff? And do we have enough manpower? And, we have a rule on our side, or we put a rule into place this year. I feel like all rules are out the window at this point. Like what's the sense in having rules, right? But we were really trying to stick to, 2 events per day. Because that is where we feel like we shine the best. We can give our clients the attention that we believe they deserve. And, at this point, that's not really going to be possible.
No, when we get back up and running. No.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no way. So trying to, figure that out and plan with my team that's left of like, what are we doing? How are we going to do it? What does this look like for us as a company as a whole, our personal lives are pretty much going to be donezo come the fall, winter, and no complaints. It's just, it's a mind change. It's a shift of how we set out to do 2020. So
totally.
I think it's hard too, because you can't, because it was so unknown and unplanned and the rug just got pulled out. It's like, you can't even enjoy this time now and chill out. Knowing that it's going to be crazy once it hits again. It's so emotional and so many layers.
Yeah. Well, I had a trip planned for Cabo to leave on the 30th. So that's gone because they just announced that we can't even go to Mexico anymore. I mean, it was kind of gone a few days ago, but with my birthday coming up, a package came from Amazon today, and I asked my husband if it was a VR set so I could put on some suntan lotion.
Just that would be awesome.
Just pretend. I mean, I don't think it is. It's too small of a box.
Could you video that for us?
But I think I might do that or some version of that in my office. I don't know. Because I could pretend work so hard and we get very little vacations out of the year. And so I've been looking forward to this for like 4 months, and it was going to be, adults only, like, just sit by the pool and drink margaritas. Yeah. And it's like, I want to reschedule it, but then when? Like, okay, so we get back up, everything gets back up and running. I have a number of like holiday parties I'm working on, which I was like really stoked about, that all these inquiries are coming in March for holiday parties, and that's going to be great. But now a lot of events that were supposed to be like late spring, summer are now going to be shifted to the fall. So like Jillian was saying, we were trying to just do like one event a weekend. And now it's just going to be, I don't even know when I'm going to be able to take off. So
yeah.
Well, how are you guys managing if you are having postponements? I'm kind of not even committing to dates anymore. Going forward, we're putting them out there and I'm penciling them in.
Yeah. We have an event scheduled for June, and then one was April, and it was postponed to August. So, I think we're going to be fine with August. The June event, they were trying to get out of that, but the venue was staying pretty strict on the contracts. and was going to take the deposit, which was very sizable. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they'll reconsider. That'll definitely be a conversation for next week of just like, hey, in light of everything that's been announced, they're part of like a national conference too. So the national conference might reschedule and not feel like they're going to do really well. I also know, like you guys know from like a corporate standpoint, they're probably like banking on last minute sponsorship. Probably should have been in the element of sponsorship right now for this national conference. And now all of a sudden that's been jeopardized because everything is, no one's making a decision on anything. Nobody's writing checks for anything. No one's sending anybody anywhere, so I wouldn't be completely surprised if this June event gets postponed and we've got to deal with that. Especially with who knows how long this ordinance for California is going to be in place. So,
yeah, we've had just a significant amount of crazy. I think we had 20 something events cancel from now through May, and we had about 25 other events that postponed. Wow. About 25 of those, I think maybe 10 have officially chosen a date. So we're doing. If you've paid a deposit, the deposit's just getting moved towards your new date as long as you book within 2020. And in most cases, I've only had one wedding that we made an exception for and they pushed to 2021, but it's early 2021. So I think, most people are still hoping that they're going to be able to get married this year, which is great. Corporate is pretty much a complete loss for the most part. I think maybe we've had 2 or 3 that have postponed, but still, date very TBD, not sure much about it. And really, like you said, Jen, I mean, not anybody's really working right now or willing to make any type of commitments or, changes to the schedule. I mean, I think just so much is up in the air. So we're trying to be as flexible as we possibly can. I mean, here's the deal at the end of the day, like, yes, we are a small business and like, there's only so much that we can do, but at the same time, this wasn't caused by our client. We didn't cause it. So we're trying to be understanding. We did have a few events that were in March, and that like canceled last minute. And this was kind of before the severity of all of this really took off. And so we were definitely sticking to, our what our contract says and cancellations and all of that. We were like days out. And so for that, like we think that at that point, you were already going for it anyway, you're already there. So it's a bummer, but that's where we're at. But obviously everything moving forward is, within weeks or months or whatever. So it'll just be interesting. I think so many people are trying to hold on. My end of Mays are trying to hold on right now. And, I think really the next 2 weeks, I feel like everything changes so rapidly in 24 hours that the next really going to be a good inclination of, are we getting out of this anytime soon? Or are we going to be like, should we be prepared that this goes through the summer? And if that's the case, then, obviously everybody's going to have a lot that they need to plan for and adjust, moving forward. So,
yeah. Is there anything you guys are thinking about doing differently with your business once things get back up and running? Like, or maybe just even, I don't know, any thoughts or ideas of like, how you might operate differently or not at all? If there's anything you guys are thinking of for when things get back up and running.
I mean, I think from a floral design event perspective, that stuff will stay the same. I mean, I don't want this most of my clients are so last minute anyway. I mean, that might be something, there might be just shorter timelines because people might not want to book out so early, but I kind of I'm usually the last call, like people decide to add flowers later.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, I mean, it's funny because everybody's jumping now into like the digital space, which I think is cool. And I've had a lot of ideas. That's kind of what I've been working on during this time too, is just not pushing sales right now, but just sort of managing the beauty and then also working on like the foundational stuff for my business. So all those ideas that I've had that I haven't had time to work on, just trying to get that stuff in place and update things that I just haven't had time to get to. So yeah, I mean, definitely it has me thinking about offering other things because, you know, I'm already working with a perishable product, so that's already challenging to begin with. And then, you know, yeah, it's just probably going to go more digital, which I hope not, because I hope this makes us want to connect more in real life too, you know, and events. I mean,
I think we're all like, I mean, I think, I definitely think there'll be a digital aspect for sure that will be a bit more increased. But I think we're all like, can't even stay home when it was recommended a week ago. So like people, I mean, and
I don't like think all the replace
Florida, like they're like, oh, I wanted to do spring break. You know, like people like to be around other people. We are social creatures. That is of our nature. Like we want to connect, and that face to face is so much different. Like it's so great seeing you guys right now, but it would be even better if we were sitting around having coffee face to face. I would prefer that like 1,000 times over right now. We could give each other hugs, or like not really hugs right now. We could whatever. You're supposed
to elbow bump or toe touch.
But I mean,
I don't think you can ever replace the face to face.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, again, you know, talk about learning, but one of the things that has been an eye opener from this whole experience is, you know, you build a company off of relationships, right? So no matter how good your product is or bad your product is or whatever, a lot of times when you have a good relationship with somebody and ultimately obviously execute too, it just builds this rapport, which is great. But at the same time, what we struggle with is the majority of people, hold on, Betty. What we struggle with is the majority of people, you know, so much of our business is done verbally, and verbally is great until something like this happens. And then you go, wow, I had hundreds of thousands of dollars verbally communicated to me that they were going through, and I have no contract to show for them. And so now here I am, and I have no recourse to get the money back. What? Yes. Hold on, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
How about you, Jen? What are you, any differences going forward for you?
To speak to Jill's point though, I mean, I have had some challenges in the past where I got burned about like verbals and started planning events with people and wasn't very super strict about my contracts in the very beginning. And then that just became really challenging. And so I ended up shifting a couple years ago where it's just like, my time is super valuable. If someone else is not serious, then that's totally fine. But I'm not going to like, you know, go do all this work. And, you know, I've had plenty of clients that are like, oh, if you could just like help us find the venue and then we'll sign the contract. It's like, no, that's a huge part of it. And that's also, you know, a service that I charge for and an expertise. So the last couple of years, I really just like shifted that, you know, just that structure of like, I would love to provide services for you as soon as we sign a contract and you pay a deposit. And it's only because I got burned with it a couple times. And you want to like go into this being like, I want to like help everybody and plan their events and, you know, tell them all the cool places that can have an event, or tell them some great ideas of different themes, or all this like free advice. And in the long run, then they don't hire you, and you've just like wasted hours and hours of time just giving people like free advice. So yeah, there's that. But I mean, in terms of like new things, I mean, we are exploring more digital, doing more like live streaming stuff. And next week I'm going to interview the team from All Star Productions. They have a lot of the technology around that. We're going to talk about doing stuff from just beyond, you know, Facebook Live here and like Zoom, which a lot of people have accessible in their homes, and like what are your options for like a larger model. I've done this for one biotech company a few different years in a row up in San Francisco, but my expertise on it are kind of limited to that one client and then the one provider of live streaming. And so we're just going to explore some different options of what that can entail and what are some considerations. Because I feel like from a planning perspective, I don't know how well I would sell it to like many different clients. So now I'm just trying to do some research on that end of things, because when I'm talking to them about like your services, a lot of times I'm like selling them on, you know, here's what Jen can provide as a florist, like here's her stuff, here's her aesthetics, blah, 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 or here's TBD, like they have all this cool decor stuff, or we can theme out all these things or whatever. And so I know how to sell them on the businesses that you guys provide, but I think I'm a little rusty or inexperienced in this live stream element that for some of my corporate clients who are just really focusing on education as like their main goal and less about the connection and less about the networking. They really just want to deliver content, you know, and have people engaged in it, and maybe, you know, minimize the expenses by flying everybody out to do that. So that's something we're considering right now. All right. Well, I wanted to like kind of leave this on a positive note, because I know this is just, what are you guys thinking about for like hopes for like how this could, you know, make us, I think we touched on this a little bit. Like, what are our hopes of like how this could shape our businesses or shape us as people, or be like just an advantage of this challenging time? If there's anything more you guys want to expand on that, of like whether it's more time home with family or more time home just to paint or whatever those things are, like what could be the I don't know, the advantage of the whole situation, or hope to like how we get out the other side of this. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think this has just been the good thing of like stripping down to the bare bones of like what really matters, you know? So yeah, health, family, time, space. And that's kind of stuff that I've been craving already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just trying to be more intentional. I just hope, I just hope that we all kind of get a little bit more onto that human level. And
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, you know, our job is literally to put out fires a lot of times, right? As in events, that's kind of what you do, whether it's a small one or a big one. And so this is just another fire that we're going to have to somewhat put out, but also just wait out too.
Yeah.
I think it's going to allow people, hopefully, you know, everyone will get their creative juices back, and we'll be able to really figure out what's going to happen moving forward in our personal lives and our business lives, et cetera. But, you know, I think the thing is, if you're an entrepreneur, like this is not going to be your first storm that you'll weather, and it's sure as hell not going to be your last. So, you know, I think we just have to take everything in stride daily. And, you know, at the end of the day, like you figure it out, you just do. And, you know, we can sit here all day and worry, but I don't think that that's really going to help anybody. I think we just have to continue to be a light for our friends, for our vendor friends, checking in with them. Hey, are you okay? How's it going? I mean, this is tough for everybody on so many levels. I mean, so many of my friends went from the working mom to now the stay-at-home mom, and that's challenging. Or just, you know, being with like some spouses are now working at home together. That's challenging. Like there's just a lot of challenges on the daily. And so I think all we can do is have grace in this whole entire process. And I know for sure I'm not going to take some of these little things for granted anymore. That's for sure.
No.
My daily Starbucks, you know, run, not going to take that for granted. I mean, that's so silly in first world, but just being able to have friends over. We have friends over all the time. It's crazy that I haven't really seen my friends in so long. So so I think, you know, everybody stay as positive as we can. I think the more positivity we can put out there, I think the quicker this is going to go away. we all have to be on the positivity ship, not the, oh crap, this is the end of the world. It's all going down,
Energy. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was laughing when you were saying about spouses like working home, because my husband is he's been working and they're wrapping like his business. They're trying to still figure out if they're going to have small food and beverage operation at the hotel. But he's been working this whole week and working a lot. But I was reading something, and he might not. They're still trying to figure this out. But I was reading something about spouses working at home together, and that they should invent a coworker.
Yes. Cheryl, why does Cheryl keep leaving her empty glasses all over the office?
Pam.
Everybody needs a Cheryl. So
totally, or a Karen. I think Karen is like the essential go-to. No, I agree with both of you guys, because we're always thinking about what could go wrong. We're always trying to advise our clients on what can go wrong, and then and some of it does happen with and we just have to like kind of navigate our way through it and hopefully come up with a plan, whether or not we can execute that plan or we have to have a plan B, C, D, whatever it is. I think that is definitely the nature of our business, and I think people will want to celebrate again, and they'll want to get together, and they're going to appreciate it that much more. I mean, I was thinking about some of the events that I passed up a couple weeks ago, and there was like a 10-course tasting dinner that I almost got to go to, but it was like right after I did like a couple events, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to, like, sounds like really exhausting. And now I would like jump and give my right arm to go to that kind of amazing culinary experience, because like the culinary experience I'm having right now is like chicken nuggets and grilled cheese, or whatever, anything I cook.
Don't forget that ketchup.
yeah, I'm totally stocked up on ketchup for sure.
Yeah, and it's funny that you said that we're used to like putting fires out and looking for like the bad things that are going to happen. It's almost like now's the time that we need to shift and think more about what are the good things that are going to happen. Totally. Everybody flip.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I think ultimately we're all going to come out better leaders, right? Yeah, I mean, the decisions that we're making, while we have to trust our gut. Hi, Charlie. The decisions that we're making and that hopefully people are trusting their gut on, they are not easy decisions. And, I think this is an opportunity for us as entrepreneurs and owners of companies to learn and to make really, really tough decisions that ultimately are going to make us better people, better leaders, better ultimately in business moving forward. So
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So if there's anybody on this call who, is in that place right now and you have to make tough decisions, just trust your gut. There's no right or wrong. Honestly, there's not.
No.
And, just know that when all this is all said and done, you can go back and look at it and evaluate how it shaped you for the better, because it will. It just will.
No, I mean, and there was a challenge I faced prior to starting my own business that was like devastating, but it was the thing that prompted me to start my own business. And I love what I'm doing now. And I think it's all these, sometimes the challenge or like uncomfortable situation you face, like gets you to the better spot that you are not willing to take that leap and go do. You were wanting to stay comfortable, want to stay safe. And that's great, but we don't grow if we try to stay in those safe paradigms, I guess.
Yeah, there was some other quote that just reminded me of too, and I don't know who said it, but it was more about all you can see is what you're giving up. You can't see when you're in the middle of it or whatever. It's harder to see what you might gain on the other side.
Yeah.
I think just really being positive and thinking about all of the amazing things that are going to come out of it is so helpful.
Well, ladies, I am so excited to see your faces. It was so good to talk to you, because we've been talking to a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old and emailing and texting, but grown-up conversations, like seeing faces, has been pretty awesome, especially you two. I love you so much. So thank you for coming on today, and hopefully we'll have time to connect again. So take care and stay safe and stay healthy.
Yeah, stay healthy, everybody. We'll see you soon. Coffee soon.
Yes. All right. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, ladies. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.